This video will cover the information you need to consider when you put your notebook together. Your notebook will consist of, I recommend a 3-inch binder. And I don't think I've written this in the notes here, but I'll probably send you some more information on this, but I want you to not use sheet protectors. Now, after the course is over with, if you want to go back in, take your notebook apart and put sheet protectors in, first, it makes the notebook extra thick, and second, it's hard for me to flip through the pages. So let me say it one more time, no sheet protectors, okay? I want to be able to touch those, pull those sheets with my finger is the problem because it slips too much, okay? You can print your text front and back on a sheet of paper. I recommend that you put your activity sheets that are you ultimately put in the notebook. I like those just printed on the front so there's no print through, okay? All right, well, let's go ahead and get started here on this. Really, what I want when you finish this course is for this to be a document, this notebook, actually more of a tool that you can use if you need to do some science in your classroom, or possibly share this with people who are teaching science in your school. And with the box of materials, which you will keep, and the notebook, you have a significant resource to help people, at least with the physics. I don't know if most people know this or not, but 60% of elementary school physics, of elementary school science, should be physics, okay? Because that has so many different components to it: sound, electricity, magnetism, all the things we'll be covering in this course. Unfortunately, most people are more familiar with biology, so I think life science gets covered better than physics. But this will go a long ways to helping you do some physics in your classroom, okay? So we wanted high quality, okay? We wanted something that you'd be proud of when you open it up. So there's going to be requirements that you work neatly and work carefully, and so that when somebody looks at this, they're going to say, wow, this is really well put together. Looks good, okay? Now, the guidelines on what you should do in your notebook are in your getting started, okay, component. I recommend that you read those over. And a lot of what I'm going to tell you right now is sort of repetitious based on what's actually there. But I want you to hear, some people don't read some of this information carefully. So I'm hoping if you read it and then listen to me talk about it, maybe some of this will stick, okay? Here is the way the notebook is organized. You'll have a cover page. I want that inside the notebook. When I open it up, the first page that I'll see in the 3-ring attached in there is a three-ring page will be this this cover page. Now, the little grading form that will be at the end of that D2L component that says course guidelines, that last page, it'd help me if you could put it in your front cover. So when I open up the book, I can have it right there. I can start, hopefully not writing, negative, taking points off, but still I can write with it with your name on it, and it's already sitting there for me, okay? But on your cover page, I want your name, I want your street address, in case what happens sometimes, I have to keep the notebook and then send it to people, and this will be your street address because we send by UPS. Your phone number and your email address, okay? Put it in there in case something happens and I need that information. I can go directly to your notebook and get it, okay? All right, then the course documents. This is sort of like a syllabus. Matter of fact, I kind of refer to it as a syllabus part of this. And it has your timeline, okay? And you should be pretty familiar with the timeline now. It has your activity schedules, okay? And it has the materials and equipment that we need to do all these activities with, okay? Now, after that, you have the material presented in the form of the modules, okay, that we do in the course. Okay, each module has the material organized the same. So I can go through there and look and see if you follow directions one module after another. I know where it should be and I know what to look for, okay? So it really helps me grade this if you follow these rules, okay? So by module, and the way I find module is that there are tabs, okay, on a good divider, and the tabs should stick out farther than the pages that are in the document. So when I open this thing up, I can see the tabs right there. So be sure that you don't have pages sticking out covering up the tabs, okay? The tabs should be labeled by content, and be careful. Sometimes people put little tabs inside the tabs and then they fall out. So be sure you put a little piece of tape so whatever title you give it stays in that little plastic thing that sticks over the edge, okay? You can use paper inserts. I've got some that I use sometimes where it's basically all paper and the tab is paper that sticks out on the edge. But be sure those things stick out far enough, okay? All right. So they should extend out. And they should be labeled to indicate what module this is, okay? There it is. Okay, good. I forgot that I had no sheet protectors, okay? No sheet protectors. Set it again. Set it here. Please follow that rule, okay? Now, this is not your course timeline. I'm just using an old presentation, but that's what it looks like. You know what it looks like. I think this particular, I think it's last summer's, is one day off from what your is, but nonetheless, the course timeline, okay, that should be after the title page, okay. The next thing I'll see is the course timeline. The next thing I'll see is that activity schedule, and then the materials and equipment list. They should be right up front, okay. And then after that, then I start looking at the modules, okay. And so this is the way that here's what you could put on your tabs to identify the areas that we'll be covering in each module, okay, or the subject will be covering each module, okay. So it'll be science process, mechanics 1, mechanics 2, and so on all the way down. Last thing we'll cover is magnetism, okay. All right, now each module, okay, is organized the same, okay. The first thing that I'll look for are those pages associated with that particular module that's being presented here, okay? And that's the way the text is organized in D2L. You remember, you go to here it says lecture and readings, and you go to readings, and it says these are the pages that you're going to be associated with a particular module, okay? If you print out your text from the SFA web page, okay, then you'll have to go to D2L to be sure. Most of them are by chapter. I think mechanics has a little overlap. And I think light and E&M have a little overlap, okay? The chapter's actually cut in two, but it tells you which pages should be in there. Sometimes you may have to repeat a page if, if there's a little overlap between two particular modules, okay? So the first thing I'll see is the text, okay? When I flip that over, the next thing I should see is your PowerPoint slides. And if you do it where you do three PowerPoints to a page, then your notes are there. If you decide to print the PowerPoint slides off and then have your handwritten notes after that, that's okay. I prefer to have it where I can look at your notes in the PowerPoints, but both ways, okay? Now, if you have any additional notes from the reading, okay, which I recommend you do when you read, jot some things down, okay? Or if you have additional notes from when I discuss each module, remember we call that chat, okay? You could put those in there too. That impresses me to let me know you're taking effort to really kind of go over the material, okay? But I am requiring lecture